Like anything in life, one of the ways to be good at things is to nail the fundamentals and understand the fundamentals. This series is about exactly that, and there's plenty of stuff on beginners. What's a town hall and what's a cannon out there, but that's not what this series is about. This is about the fundamental concepts of Clash, and if you want to play well at the beginner levels, what are the different options and strategies you've got, and how does that carry through in terms of the development of Clash and your gameplay, because a lot of these principles that we're going to touch on in this series actually apply all the way through to Town Hall 10. Now, to start off, in the early Town Hall levels, the game is really about loot. It's not about the amount of trophies you win or lose. Don't worry if you're losing battles or winning battles. What matters is how much loot you're gaining and how much loot you're losing, because really the objective of the game is to get enough loot to upgrade. So in terms of the loot gain or loss, it's really driven by two things: how much loot, say, the base you're hitting has, and it's also driven by this thing called the loot multiplier, which you'll see the table just here, where if you're hitting the same level, 100% of the loot is available, and one level lower 90%, two levels lower 50, three levels lower 25, four or more levels lower 5%. Now at Town Hall 2, everything you hit will be 100%. But I guess where the loot multiplier comes in is on defense, which is if you are being hit by the same level Town Hall, they can get 100% of the available loot. If someone's hitting you 4 or more levels lower, they can only get 5% of the available loot. So where this goes is a couple of things. So the conventional wisdom on this is don't upgrade to Town Hall until you've got every one of your buildings maxed at that Town Hall level, and that's probably a pretty good strategy. It's very safe. If you upgrade early, before or everything is upgraded, then that's called being rushed. And the issue there is when you're defending, you're giving away a lot more loot because the loot multiplier is greater for your opponent, and so they can take more of your loot. Now, there's a second way you can actually counter this, which is if you are rushed, what you've got to do is you just got to make sure you're holding very little loot. So the idea there is run your raiding sessions as long as you can, just to the point where you get to an upgrade, and then once you've got an upgrade, spend all your loot, and so when you're running defense, you're not carrying any loot, and that's a way of, if you are rushed, countering the loot multiplier, which is make sure you're not carrying much loot, and then the loot multiplier doesn't matter much. Now, the first thing to be aware of in attacking villages is to watch out for wizard towers and mortars. The reason for that is that cannons, archer towers, and a lot of the defences just do what's called single shot damage, so they hit one troop at a time. But wizard towers and mortars do splash damage, and as you can see in this replay, splash damage will destroy Town Hall 2 troops, which have got very low hit points, very, very quickly. So the trick is, what I look for is, often you won't find whiz towers at these low Town Hall levels generally, but you'll often see a mortar, and I basically steer clear of any base with a mortar unless the mortar is accessible on the perimeter. And if it's accessible on the perimeter, what you do is you drop a bunch of barbs to take down the mortar quickly, as you can see in the replay, and then you've got no more splash damage in the base and you can attack the rest of the base. Next, if you see a big base, usually they'll be farming in low cups or just trying to farm defense wins. What you do there is just scout the perimeter, see if there's any nice loot, some mines or collectors on the outside, because they might be worth chucking a whole lot of troops at and filling up your stores. But basically the strategy there is you look for, see if they've got a town hall which is in the corner with no defences on it, then you drop a couple of troops there. That will kill the town hall and that will win you the battle and get some cups. And that's the way basically you what's called cup push when you're Town Hall 2. You basically, as soon as you get out of leagues where you can win battles with your army against the full base, you basically got to keep skipping bases until you find bases with town halls in the corner. Then you snipe the town hall, and that's how you gain cups as a low town hall. Finally, when you're attacking, try and take down the defences early. This is a strategy that applies through all Town Hall levels, which is if you've got bunched defences in an area of the base, try and take down the defences early before you take down the stores and mines and the rest of the buildings, because if you're hitting another building while the defence is hitting you, that is basically a waste of troops. You want to take down the damage producing buildings early, and as you can see in this raid, by taking down the damage producing buildings early, that way my baby army could take the whole base. Next, when you're looking at which buildings to target on a base and where the loot is, just want to draw attention to, if you look closely at the collectors and you look closely at the mines, you can actually tell if the collectors, elixir collectors and the mines are full by looking closely at the amount of elixir in it, or whether there's gold in the little box in front of the mine. That'll help you know which buildings to target when you're doing your raid. Finally, as you're raiding, try and always keep your barracks full with all the troops queued. That way, when you come back, you've had more troops made and you don't have to wait as long. In terms of defense strategy, the best strategy, and remember here we're defending loot. You're hoping that a Town Hall 2 base is going to win defences and defend the Town Hall. You're dreaming. But in terms of defending loot, it is actually possible at all levels, and the way to do it is just make sure you carry no loot. So when you do your raiding sessions, run it to the point where you're upgrading a building. And one really handy tip is, look, if you've got, especially if you've got 4 or 5 huts, but it's actually handy if you can. Probably not advisable if you've got 2 huts, but if you can, keep a hut free, so you've got a builder, and that means if you've got any spare loot, you can actually use it into buying new walls or upgrading walls. And if you've got no loot, well, your defense is perfect, because you're just trying to defend loot, and if you've got none, well, they can't take it. Second form of defence is, look, just leave your town hall where it's someone can just get it easily. Hopefully someone is pushing for cups, sniping town halls, and if they just take your town hall and don't do the rest of the base, which might be dreaming if you're Town Hall 2, because they'll probably take your full base, but there's always a chance they just snipe you and move on. Probably not as a Town Hall 2, but that's a second key strategy. The third key strategy is try and protect your defence buildings, and you can see what I've done in the base that I'm showing you here is I put all the defences in the middle of the base. So the defences are the last buildings to go down, and you can see second last in this type of base is almost the collectors, because I'm figuring I'm not going to keep anything in the stores. If I'm away, there'll be loot in the collectors. Final strategy for defending your loot, if you care to, look, one way of doing it is just to push your cups really, really high, and really, slight loss of town halls, get your cups very high, or your trophies very high, and then what you can do is you're probably facing players with much higher town halls, and then really every time you defend, you're only actually risking 5% of your loot. And as you can see here, like a 5-player with just their queen can take out your full base, but look at the amount of loot they gained, and for you that's a successful defense. So one really useful strategy, I guess, if you want to push, that's actually not a bad farming strategy, because there's a lot more loot at higher cups, and you actually got very little loot at risk. Okay, Max Town Hall 2, so it's time to upgrade, get a clan castle, join a clan.